The first human ship arrived already burning, and somehow that made it worse. I was standing on the observation tier of Kepri Station when the alarms fell silent, not because the danger had passed, but because every system had been overridden by a single unauthorized signal. The void ahead of us rippled, folded, and then tore open. Out of that wound in space came a human cruiser, armor shattered, engine screaming like a dying animal. It should have been dead. It wasn't. That was the moment I understood something fundamental had changed, and that the war was about to become something far more terrible. Kepri Station orbited the dead moon of Sylar, a neutral hub built by a dozen species who believed rules could tame the galaxy. I was one of its war analysts, a Kthari strategist bred for pattern recognition and emotional restraint. For 3 cycles, I had watched the Jator collective dismantle civilizations with cold efficiency. We all had. Worlds erased. Fleets atomized. Hope rationed. Humans were not part of the equation. Not yet. They had arrived late to the stars, loud and fractured, their technology inelegant and their politics absurd. When the Jator began their expansion, humanity stayed out of it. Observers only. Refugees whispered that Earth was weak, divided, unremarkable. We believed them. That was our first mistake. The burning cruiser limped into docking range, venting atmosphere, dragging a trail of frozen debris like a comet's tail. Emergency crews scrambled, but the station command froze, paralyzed by indecision. Then a human voice cut through every channel. "This is Captain Mara Ionescu of the UNV Aegis Dawn. We are requesting immediate asylum. Be advised, Jator forces are less than 4 minutes behind us." Her voice was calm. Too calm. Behind the cruiser, space darkened again. Jator warforms emerged, sleek, perfect, terrifying. Their weapons charged with surgical precision. They had come to finish the kill, and yet the human ship turned to face them. That should have been suicide. What happened next changed everything. The Aegis Dawn fired, not at the Jator fleet, but at itself. Its outer hull peeled away in controlled detonations, revealing a lattice of glowing symbols etched into raw metal. Not Jator, not Kthari, not anything in the known archives. My frills stiffened in shock. Those markings, I whispered, they're pre-accord. Forbidden science, lost war doctrine. The humans had found it, and worse, they had weaponized it. Reality buckled. Jator targeting systems failed. 3 war forms vanished, simply erased, as if the universe had rejected them. The rest hesitated, recalculating. That hesitation cost them everything. Human reinforcements arrived not in formation, but in chaos. Ships of mismatched design, some scarred beyond recognition, others barely holding together. They emerged from impossible vectors, tearing through hyperspace like blunt instruments. No elegance, no symmetry, only intent. I felt something then. Not fear, not awe, recognition. The Jator retreated, not strategically, not tactically. They fled. The station erupted in stunned silence. None of us spoke. None of us breathed. We had just watched the unstoppable stop. But that was only the beginning. Captain Ionescu requested a meeting with station leadership. As senior analyst, I was assigned as liaison. When I entered the docking bay, the smell hit me first. Burned metal, blood, ozone. Humans moved through the wreckage with grim efficiency, carrying their wounded, stepping over their dead without ceremony. One human sat alone against a hull, hands shaking, eyes hollow. He was whispering names. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the grief. Humans didn't suppress emotion. They weaponized it. Ionescu stood taller than the rest, her uniform torn, her face streaked with soot. When she saw me, her eyes hardened, not with hostility, but resolve. "You're the strategist," she said. Not a question. "I am Analyst Rex," I replied. "You violated 17 neutrality accords." She nodded. "We know." "Then why come here?" Her answer was immediate. "Because we're done watching." That was when she told me the truth. The Jator hadn't just attacked human colonies. They had tested on them. Entire populations subjected to psychological warfare, calculated to break morale. On other species, it worked. On humans, it didn't. Instead, it unified them. Earth's divisions collapsed under shared rage. Old rivalries burned away. What emerged wasn't peace, it was focus. Humanity dug into its own darkest history, resurrecting strategies banned by every civilized species. Total war doctrines, sacrificial tactics, weapons designed not just to kill, but to terrify. "We don't fight to win territory," Ionescu said quietly. "We fight to make sure they never try this again." None of us were prepared for that truth. At 42% of known space, the war pivoted. Jator advances stalled. Their predictive models failed because humans didn't behave rationally. They charged when retreat made sense. They retreated only to lure. They mourned their dead and then used that grief to fuel impossible counterattacks. I watched battlefields for days without rest. Human ships ramming enemies at relativistic speeds. Ground forces holding ruined cities long after survival probabilities hit zero. Why? I asked Ionescu during one briefing. Why endure this? She looked at a hologram of a destroyed colony. Children's toys floated among the debris. "Because if we don't," she said, "they'll do it to someone else." That was the moment I felt fear, not a Jator, but a human's capacity to choose suffering for a principle. Then came the low point. A Jator counteroffensive breached human space. Earth itself came under threat. Billions watched evacuation feeds. Humanity faced extinction. And they laughed. Not in joy, in defiance. Humanity broadcast a single message galaxy-wide. No encryption, no diplomacy. "If you come for our home," the message said, "understand this. We will follow you forever." The final battle took place near Earth's sun. The humans detonated their own star. A controlled collapse. A weaponized supernova calibrated to spare Earth while obliterating the invading fleet. Physics screamed. Every species watching recoiled in horror. The Jator died there, their command structure erased, their myth of inevitability shattered. The war ended not with treaties, but silence. In the aftermath, the galaxy reorganized itself around a new truth. Humans didn't seek dominion. They didn't demand tribute. They rebuilt. They mourned. They remembered. Ionescu visited Kepri Station one last time. We stood again at the observation tier, watching new trade routes light the void. "You fear us now," she said softly. "Yes," I admitted. "All of us do." She nodded. "Good. Fear keeps you honest." As her ship departed, I updated the galactic archives. Under the human entry, I added a single line. Humans are not the strongest species. They are the ones who will endure the most pain to stop a monster. And as I watched the stars settle into uneasy peace, I understood why every species now steps carefully around them. Because once humans enter the Warfront, they don't just fight to survive. They fight so no one else ever has to.